This is going to be the first in a series of three folders which I'm going to show, and these are for what I've decided to call false presentation packs. Now, let me just explain what I mean by that. Anyone who's seen the previous stamp videos I've done knows in particular I collect UK Royal Mail presentation packs. Now, there are the official ones, of which there are hundreds. They are the unofficial ones, often called Post Office missed packs, of which there are 16, which I have shown before. And then there's the couple of hundred other stamps that never made it into presentation packs. Now, what I've done, and it's not only me that's done this, there's other people in the world I know that have done this, is that I have decided to term all of those as false presentation packs. What I've done basically is I've grouped them together as best I can in groups of either theme or type of stamp or date of issue or something like that. So basically, these are presentation packs of which I've got the raw materials together and sort of made myself. I haven't put any artwork or anything like that on them. They're just in the standard black plastic wallets that you would normally get presentation packs in. Now, some of these I've shown before. I showed them in one of the videos I did. I can't remember which one it was. But I've decided that I'm just going to go through them and show what I've got, and you know, you can take it as you like. But I did. The reason why I started doing this was because UK presentation packs, basically, depending on how you term it, they run from 1964 up till the modern day. If you add in the Post Office missed ones, there are a couple that predate 1964. There are actually 6 that predate 1964. Although the 2 main ones that I have are the 2 Post Office missed ones, which are the Coronation and the Festival of Britain pack in 1951. But there are all these other stamps that obviously predate 1964. They predate 1937 because the first stamp was issued in 1840. So all those stamps I don't think should be left out, and I think they have just as much right to be in presentation packs as all the stamps that were issued with them. So this is what I've done, and I've got 3 folders. Obviously the third one's not full, but I'll just show what I've got and we'll take it from there. Right, so as usual, we start with the sheet of what's in it, or what's supposed to be in it, and I'm actually going to take this out and refer to it because I've got no information staring at me from the front here. So let me just show you what I've done. Actually, I'll do that on the next page because it's the slit's on the other side. So this is what's here should be from 1840 to 41, but I only have one of them, which is this is the start of the Victorian stamps, and this is what I'm calling the 1840 to 41 imperforates. So that would be in an ideal world, there'd be a penny black here, there'd be a tuppenny blue here, there's a penny red that is here, which has been cancelled with a Maltese cross, if you look, and there would be the reissue of the tuppenny blue with the line across it. But that would be in an ideal world. I don't have any of the embossed issues, which would be 1847 to 54. They're the high value stamps, and they're still very much high value now. And you don't come across them very often. And I don't have any of the 1854 perforated issues, although if I did, they would be here. 1855 to 1856 with no corner letters. I have one of them with quite a heavy cancel on it. These are the 1858 to 1870 Letters in Four Corners issue, and I only have 3 of them. That's the, what is that, the halfpenny? Yep, halfpenny, that one, which is a tiny, tiny stamp. That's the best example of, I had 2 or 3 of these, and that was the best example, and even that's not, that's not been perforated particularly well by the machinery at the time. But yeah, so you've got a blue, red there. What issue is that? Right, so next should have come the 1862 small corner letters, which I don't have any of. And this is the 1865 to 67 large white corner letters. Again, very heavy cancel on that one, as is going to be the case with a lot of the Victorian stamps, or any that I have, really, because, like I say, they've all come out of stock books. This should be 1867 to 1880 large white corner letters, but none there. This should be the 1867 to 1882 high values, and I don't have any of them. These are 1863 to 1880 large coloured corner letters. I've got one there, which is the halfpenny, which is probably the, oh no, it's a 2.5 penny, sorry, which obviously must be a very common stamp, otherwise I probably wouldn't have it. This is the, which one is this? This would be the 1880 to 1881 definitives, which I am going to just pull out and show here, because I'll show what I've done here. So this is just standard stamp card here with the little flap that would normally go to replace a presentation pack, and I've just made it up like a presentation pack. Interesting one here. This is 2 issues of the same stamp. You can see this is the 1 penny, and this is quite famous for having 2 reasonably common variations. So you've got a I think that one is the 14 dot, 14 dots in each corner variant, and that is the 16 dots in each corner variant. The 16 is more common than the 14, but the 14 is reasonably common. And here we have a 1 penny. But this is one to watch out for, because the difference, a dealer's difference in price between these 2 stamps is about a £5. So pay careful attention to what you're actually buying. Although all of these Victorian ones did come out of stock books, I haven't specifically gone and bought any of them, apart from I think 1 or 2 of the Jubilee issues, because they were cheap. Anyway, so this should be the 1883 to 1884 lilacs and greens. As you can see, I've only got 1 there, and again it's very heavy cancelled. This should be 1883 to 1891 high values. I don't have any of them, because again the high values are still high value nowadays, very difficult to get hold of. Now these are the Jubilee issues. I have got 2 missing from these, but I think that one and that one I actually bought specifically, because they weren't very expensive at all. But these are basically colour variants on the same stamp. Now, if you want to get technical, this one here, as you can, I don't know if the camera's going to show that out, but as you can quite clearly see, that is green. There's also a blue version of that, which is much, much harder to get, which isn't technically a separate issue. It was just there was 2 different types of ink used in the printing of this stamp, and this was originally blue and has turned green over time. The ones that stayed blue are much, much rarer because it was a slightly different ink that was used. So it's actually not a variant, it is more of a mistake, and this is the mistake because this was originally blue and has turned green. Which was a reissue of the orange one here. They're basically the same stamp, same design. This was issued in blue, has turned green. There is a variant as well. There is another version of this which is blue and has stayed blue due to a slightly better quality ink being used, but it's far rarer and far more expensive. So there you go, little bit of trivia for no good reason. So then we move on to the Edward VIII. Edward VII. Edward VIII? No, he doesn't have that many stamps. So I have all of the definitives, which are basically the same values as used in the Victorian Jubilee stamps, reissued with Edward VII's head in place of Queen Victoria's, basically. So it's the same designs there. Yeah, nothing particularly interesting about these. There's also a high value set of none of which I have because they're, again, very, very expensive and I don't want to pay the money for them. So we move on to 1910. 1911 these were issued. So Edward VII died in 1910. So 1911 is when the first George V stamps were issued. And there are two. These look like they're the same set of stamps twice, but there are actually very clear variants on them. On this one, on the first issue, is beard is much darker on the green stamp than it is in the later issues. I don't know if the camera's doing this justice, but trust me on this, the beard is much darker on the first issue of the green stamp, which is the halfpenny stamp, and on the first issue of the 1 stamp, the lion is white in body, whereas if you look here on the second issue, this is a reissue of these stamps, the beard is much lighter than it is on the original stamp, and the lion here on the 1 stamp has been shaded in across his belly, so the lion is much redder on this stamp than he is here where he's pretty much white. It's all been sort of cross-hatched, shaded on the second issue. So then we have the profile issues. This is the profile head stamps, and I am really proud of this set because this has been cobbled together from different stock books, and I've actually managed to get a full set of mint face stamps. Now, a lot of them, in fact all of them pretty much have the remnants of them horrible stamp fixers on the back of the stamps, but the face is mint, and that's what I care about because they're sitting in a folder. Now, the seahorses, I don't have any of them. I had one that I found in a stock book, but it was in utterly horrible condition. There was corner missing. It wasn't worth displaying. So I've still got it. I haven't got rid of it, but I couldn't even sell it, to be fair. And these are the two Wembley exhibition stamps. So you've got the 1924 issue here and the 1925 issue here. The 1925 issue is much harder to get for some reason, and I had to buy these specifically because I couldn't get a mint face set out of stock books, so I went and bought them specifically. Luckily they weren't an awful lot of money, but yeah, so the 1924 ones, for some reason, you will come across all the time. The 1925 issue is much harder to find mint. So then we come to the United Postal Union set, Postal Union Congress set, rather. Now, these four that I have are very, very, very common. There's also a £1 stamp, which I've saved a space for in the middle here. Unfortunately, a mint example of that goes for hundreds of pounds. So I don't think I'm going to get it anytime soon. But I might get lucky, and I would be perfectly happy to put one with a big cancel in the middle there if I ever find one cheap enough. But obviously, I would like to have the mint one, but it's so much money, it's unlikely to you're not going to come across it. So then we have the photogravure set. These ones are called, and I think these are much nicer than the profile ones, purely because of look at the rich colour in the middle there by the portrait. I mean, you know, there's no mistaking these, and bearing in mind that these stamps are now getting on for what, I don't know, say 80 years old. You know, the colour hasn't faded. They're absolutely brilliant, and I think they're really great. I think they are some of the most striking of the older stamps that you'll see. Then we come to the Silver Jubilee stamps, which is the last George V issue, because he died not long after that. So, yeah, and they're quite striking as well. Because I think they're printed the same way, but these are reasonably common. These are, in fact, quite common. So then we come to Edward VIII, who only has 4 stamps, so very easy to collect for. If you're an Edward VIII collector, stamps are your friend. Coins are not. Edward VIII coins go for an awful lot of money because there aren't many of them. But there are loads of the stamps because the turnaround stamps is obviously much quicker for that of coins. And he was only on the throne 8 months. So, in fact, it might not even have been that. But I think it was 8 months. So, yeah, there's your Edward VIII definitives, and that's it. Just 4 stamps. Very easy. So then we come to George VI. The set of 15 original definitives. These go from 1937 to 1947. Now, 6 of these were reissued in 1941 and 1942. We'll get to them in a minute. But these are the original colour variants in the striking colours. So these first 6 were reissued in paler variants with different values, incidentally, for different colours. So as not to get too confused, but these are the original colours in the dark hues there, and then you've got the different stamps here, which are the some of these. In fact, some of these are the most common. The paler values are actually more common than the darker values, but they're not rare by any means. I think the rarest dark value is probably the 3 pence purple. That seems to be reasonably difficult to get hold of, and I've only got 1 or 2 examples of this. And in fact, I don't anymore because I sold the other ones that I had because they're a couple of pounds each to collectors usually. Now, these are the high value set issued from 1939 to 1948. Now, the 10 excuse me, I'm losing my voice. The 10 shilling is reasonably difficult to get hold of in the darker blue. Now, these 5, apart from the dark blue, are mint stamps. This one, as you can see, has some cancellation mark just in the... Actually, you probably can't see that, but it does have a cancellation mark just on the side there. So I'm not terming that as mint, but it is good enough considering that a mint example of this goes for a reasonable amount of money, and I got that for next to nothing. In fact, that may have come out of a stock book. I can't remember. I don't think I bought it. I think I bought it in a job lot of stamps that wasn't a stock book, but I got it. Basically, I got it for a steal in that condition. So I'm quite happy with that, and I'm not really interested in searching for a mint example because that one to me is good enough. Bearing in mind the amount of money a mint example of that particular stamp goes for. But the high value, they're very nice stamps. I think by the time you're getting to this stage, I think the stamps are a lot more ornate. They've started to go definitely for collectors with a lot of the higher value stamps as well. Now, this set here is the postage stamp centenary. So you can see here, this is obviously issued in 1940. So there's George the Sixth and Queen Victoria there, and these share the colour denominations with the original George VI definitives there. They're just they're just commemorative stamps, really, to commemorate 100 years of stamps. So here are the reissues in the paler colours, slightly different denominations. The what was I going to say? Yeah, the three pence is still in the same colour, but all the rest of them have changed, I think, give or take. Now, obviously, I haven't got these in denomination order. I've got them in issue order. So the last one issued is towards the back there, which is the 1.5p brown. Which, if we look at the previous page, the 1.5p. Oh, that was brown as well. Oh, maybe they didn't change the denominations then. I thought they did. No, okay, I stand corrected. They didn't change the denominations. They just made them in a paler colour. So these are actually, they were issued by the British Post Office, but these are actually Jersey stamps, and this is to celebrate the Channel Islands liberation, and that was in 1943. These are sometimes called the Jersey Views set, and they're quite nice. I just like them. They were, like I say, they were issued by the British Post Office, but they weren't available everywhere. These are specifically Jersey stamps. But I think they're so important that they deserve to be in the book. So now we come to the what are they called? The Victory stamps. So these are basically Victory in Europe. These were issued in 1946 after the Second World War to celebrate the Second World War victory, basically. So now we come to 1948. 1948. The silver wedding stamps. Now this one is a reasonably common stamp, the landscape version. The portrait version is slightly more uncommon because a lot of people just bought this one to celebrate. They didn't necessarily buy it. This is a slightly higher value. I'm not even sure what value that is. It's £1. So yeah, in 1948 that was that's quite a lot of money. So, actually, hang on, why have I... That's not the Channel Islands Liberation, that's just the Jersey View set. This one's the Channel Islands Liberation. So that's also in 1948. So this is the liberation of the Channel Islands. Yeah. Getting ahead of myself. Also because it's very late and I'm tired. So here we are, 1948 Olympic Games. So all the Olympic stuff there. Again, 1949, the Universal Postal Union. They've basically just used the same colours for the same values as the Olympic set. But don't get them confused. They are different sets. This is the value change set. So this is the colour change definitives. That's what was confusing me. These were issued from 1950 to 1951. And yeah, these are the colour change set. And as you can see, they've got rid of the 3 pence purple and replaced it with a 4 pence white, or pale blue, I suppose you might call that. So yeah, that's the change there. But all the values this time have actually changed. So then we come to the Festival High Values. These are, the Festival of Britain High Values, and that's 1951. So yeah, they're quite nice stamps as well. So you've got a ship there, some kind of schooner, I suppose. I don't know. Cliffs, a horse, and then the royal, what do you call it, standard. So here we have the 1952 the Wildings definitives. Now these are all the Tudor Crown postmark, which is the original version, I'm pleased to say. Yeah, I think they all are anyway. I'm pretty sure I checked that and they all were. Incidentally, I might do a video in the future on how to check the watermark on a stamp without using lighter fluid and things like that, because I think they damage the stamp. I do have a way of doing that, which is slightly more convoluted, but it does work. And I'm pretty sure I've checked these, and they are all the Tudor Crown variant watermark. Not all in the same direction, but there you go. Next we have the... what is that one? That is the... I could check my list, actually. That is the coronation stamps. Of course they are. 1953. The coronation set. And these are reasonably easy to get hold of. All the stamps from this point on, most of them are really, really easy to get hold of. Elizabeth II stamps, you will find them in any stock book you buy, pretty much. That's all there will be. The definitives, not so much. They're slightly more difficult. But things like these, the commemorative stamps, and commemorating any event, they really are easy to get hold of. These are slightly more difficult, however, the high-value castles. Now, in an ideal world, I would want all these, the Waterloo print, which is the first issue in 1955, and I would have them all mint. But trying to do both those things is really, really difficult and expensive, so I've settled for what I've got at the moment. But this is one set that I would be looking to upgrade at some point in the future, when I get round to doing it. When I have the money, the time, the inclination to do it, I will. Now we have the, what is that? The Jubilee Jamboree. So that's basically scouting and things. So that's the Jubilee Jamboree set. Then there's the 46th Parliamentary Conference stamp, which is a 4p stamp, and it says it there, Parliamentary and Conference down the side there. It's quite difficult to see, and it does look an awful lot like the definitive stamp here. No, which one? Which one am I looking at? It looks like the definitive stamp here, which is also a 4p stamp, but it's not. It's the Parliamentary Conference one, which has got Parliamentary Conference written on it, so that should make it obvious. 1958 Commonwealth Games. Yeah, not as good as an Olympics, but it will do. Right, now we start to get into the regionals. So this is the Lilac 3p set, and this is from all the different regions. I'm having difficulty showing this now. So that's... what one's that one? Not sure. That's Wales, definitely. That's Scotland. So that must be Northern Ireland. That's the Isle of Man there with the three-legged thing. And one of these is Jersey. And one is Alderney, I think. I can't read that. But anyway, these are the different regional sets. And then more regional issues here. Now, like I say, not all of these were issued in every territory in Britain, but they were all issued by the Royal Mail. And at that time, all the stamps were issued from the same place. Nowadays, of course, the Channel Islands all have their own mail. They issue their own stamps, but these were all issued by the UK mainland Royal Mail at the time. They were just sold in different places, so that's where I make the distinction normally. And of course at this time as well, for some reason, the definitives, the Welsh definitives, that one there, were also sold in Monmouthshire. I don't know why that is, that Monmouthshire was considered part of Wales for so many years, but stamp-wise it was. So there's an interesting factoid. It's not anymore, but it was at the time these stamps were issued. So the Welsh one here was sold in Wales and Monmouthshire as a county. I don't know why, but it happens to be true. So you can go and research that, and if you can figure out why, you're a better man than I. So yeah, more definitives. This time we've got Scotland, we've got Wales, and we've got Northern Ireland with the hand look here, the hand of Northern Ireland. Don't know why it's a hand. I should look it up, probably. Anyway, banged on a bit. General Letter Office. So these are stamps commemorating that. And then we have the Europa Conference, which is Telecommunications Administrations. So there you go, that's that. Then we have the Savings Bank Centenary. And then to finish off this folder, the CEPT, whatever that is, I'm not entirely sure. But they issued stamps for it, so it must be vitally important to the nation at this point in 1961. So there we are. We've gone through, how many? 5 monarchs in one folder. That sounds like an interesting weekend. Okay, the end. So yeah, that was folder number 1 of the false presentation packs, and you know, I know there's not many Victorian issues there. What I should have done really is got my list out of what I needed, so I could have actually showed you what the stamps looked like, and rather than just showing you blank pages. But you know, it's bygones, I suppose. I might do that in the future. I don't know. So yeah, there's quite a lot there missing. I'm aware of that. Because the trouble with Victorian stamps in particular is that to get Victorian stamps nowadays, you don't really stumble across them by accident. You don't really stumble across them that often in stock books, because people know that Victorian stamps, most of them are worth money, especially in good condition. So generally, even when people are selling stock books they haven't looked at in years, all the Victorian ones have gone. The Edwardian ones are reasonably difficult to get, but there's not actually many of them, so that helps. I think there's only 15. Edward the Seventh. There's only 12 or 15 stamps, I think, all told. Maybe 16. I can't think off the top of my head. So yeah, they can be expensive, but there's not many of them. Whereas the Victorian ones, there's a lot of them, and most of them are reasonably difficult to get in good condition. So you don't often come across them, you know, in stock books and things like that, is basically what I'm saying. So that's why I've got a lot of blank spaces, because I don't want to pay the money that dealers are expecting to sell them for. So the only Victorian ones I've got are ones that I've found in stock books. I don't think I've bought any. I may have bought a couple of the Jubilee ones specifically because they were really cheap, but other than that I don't think I've specifically bought any Victorian stamps. They've all come out of stock books as they were. But yeah, some of the ones I've had to buy because you can't, you don't, again, some of the who am I thinking? The George VI ones are really easy to find. You come across them all the time in stock books. George V is reasonably difficult, especially those, the 1925, what do you call it? 1925 Wembley exhibition ones. You won't find them mint at all unless you specifically go looking for them, which is what I did. So yeah, that's basically it. There is another folder and a bit of these I'm going to do in a future video. It may be one video. It's likely to be 2 other videos actually. So yeah, questions, comments, all are welcome. If you're a person like me that is so I don't want to say anal, but if you've done something similar to this, then I would love to hear about it. Put it in the comments section, or Twitter me, or whatever. So that would be fun. It'd be nice to know that there are other nutters like me about. Although, going to the bother of buying, a £26 folder to keep them all in, and then buying the cardboard inserts and of the different sizes and the little plastic wallets for them to go in, might be taking it on the verge of lunacy. I did actually think at the time when I started doing this that I might get some card and print off information on the stamps, and fold it up correctly to make it look like an actual presentation pack. But then I decided that was going to be an awful lot of work. I still might do that at some point in the future, but I think it's unlikely because it's going to be more work than I think I'm going to get. I'll get less enjoyment out of it than I will, than the effort I will put in, I think, if I went to that step. But yeah, so, like I say, questions, comments are always welcome. Even if you think I'm a bit mad, you can say that, be nice. But yeah, that's it. So the end card's here now. So there's other videos here that you might like. There's a little subscribe button here, and yeah, so comments, Twitter, all the rest of it, and hopefully I'll see you in another video.